Welcome, global family, brothers and sisters all over the world. For some of us, it's morning. For some of us, it's evening. But we are all gathered together here. It kind of brings tears to my eyes that we are here together today in honor of Earth Day, to get into our bodies now. Grateful for the information from Dr. Shiva and the last question that was, what can I do? And so I want to ask you, how are you doing? How are you all doing in this crash course of living in the present moment? You know, I've been a yoga teacher for over 30 years. You know, we get up and we go back out and get in our car and go about our day. And here we are locked in all together. How are you doing? Well, I have some movement ideas to incorporate breath and get our bodies to wake up a little bit, because this whole program is about waking up. And here's what you can do. You can take a deep breath in, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, and then you can exhale. And you can notice how that feels. Again, inhale. And then exhale. On this next inhalation, we will try to take in understanding, compassion for all those who are suffering and all the changes that are happening. And when we exhale, we will just breathe out love and hopefulness. So breathe in all the challenges, all the suffering. And when you exhale, breathe out love, compassion, understanding, change, empowerment. I can't take away anyone else's suffering, but I can feel it. And I can do practices which help me. And if you can help yourself, you're making a difference. So we'll start with a couple of options. I brought a stool because I know that some of our friends, their knees are going to prefer using a chair to using the floor. So if that's you and kneeling is not so good for your knees, you can do this exercise by sitting and moving back a little bit with your hips, and then just bending over, stretching your arms out in prayer position, or reaching on the floor and taking your deep breath. So that's your part. Everybody's got a part. If your knees are okay with kneeling, you can take it down to the earth because it's Earth Day, and you can reach out and stretch your arms in a pranam, classically with the hands together or up on fingertips. You try whatever feels best for you, and continue with your deep breath. You inhale and exhale, and you bow to Mother Earth. We have forgotten that we are her guests here, and we are not her masters. May we behave better, be better guests. May the consciousness grow. And then you can walk your hands over to the right side and stretch your left waist and rib cage and shoulder. Crawl your fingertips out. And then you can walk your hands over to the other side, to the left, and stretch your right arm longer. Feel whole side body stretching. If you're sitting in a chair, you can do the same thing upright. You can reach over to the side and feel the stretches. So much sitting these days. If you're at home working, some of you have little children. I know because I have grandchildren nearby. That is a whole nother level of staying home. And then some of you are alone. You can bow forward. We have so many different variations of our homework right now. And you can walk over to the side, or you can walk over to the side, and you can just keep doing this. This is a simple thing to do at your desk, you know? You got to bring the movement throughout the day. That's what I find. It makes me feel better if I bring it in throughout the day. And now kneeling, we will do this exercise called cat-cow. This is the cat pose, the round back, tucked under tailbone and chin to chest, pushing the floor away. And this is the cow with my breath. And I take my time here, and I might wiggle from side to side a little bit because my spine needs a break. And now I want you to keep doing this cat-cow on your own timing. And I'll show you in the chair what it would look like. You can put your hands on your knees, and there's the cat stretch. Oh, for the upper back and lower back and the breath. And here's the cow stretch. You can move very slowly. And notice, because this program is wake up. It's become aware. It's notice. It's change comes from noticing. And I guess the universe put us in a big time out here. Who would have ever thought that the lessons of yogis and meditators would come to this? If you bend your arms and you externally rotate your shoulders, your shoulder and your whole upper arm, and you squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades in towards each other a little bit, you'll get a little bit of power to really raise your heart up and breathe and stretch. Whatever you can do, wherever your arms want to go, it's opening up the lung space. And then there's this odd irony that this COVID gets us in the lungs. So in honor of all the people that are suffering right now and can't breathe, we need to take deep breaths. I'm going to show you kneeling, but you could continue this sitting. If you take one arm over the other like this, and you just press your arms against each other. You don't have to wrap. You can just press your arms against each other, and then you breathe out and you do this rounding of the upper back and moving your head from side to side a little bit. And you stretch out the tight muscles of the upper back. Switch arms. So it's a variation of the eagle pose. And you breathe. My favorite way to stretch out my upper back. I get so much tension there. You need a break. So I'm trying to give you some cool ideas that you can use anytime, anywhere. My mascara is running. You guys are bringing tears to my eyes. Let's do the eagle stretch up here. And then the other side. You can see my back now. Really puff it out and round it. And here's another great variation. If you can lift up one leg, of course, you can be sitting on the floor as well. You hold the outer foot. So I reached across, grabbed my outer foot, and then I pushed. Then I can round my upper back, and I can take the other hand and push on the leg. Oh my gosh, I just love this stretching so much and breathing with it. So when you practice yoga, you don't necessarily have to make a shape like a pose. You can just use the yoga practice to help yourself feel better. Grabbing your outer foot with the other hand, pushing on your leg, and then the chest goes back, and you try to stretch right inside your shoulder blade and breathe. Okay, now we're going to do a forward bend, which can be done standing or from a chair. If you move your hips back and then you gradually bend over this way and you breathe. You can walk your hands out. You can reach your side. This way you get the longest side stretch I possibly can. Wiggle from side to side. Hey, let's take a moment to notice our feet, because when you wake up, you got to wake everything up. So if you look at my foot right here, I can contract the bottom of my foot and actually make it shorter. Look at that. You can make your foot go from, like I'm a size 10 to a 9.5, and then I can be more comfortable in my shoes. And this will strengthen the bottoms of our feet. So when we walk upon Mother Earth, we have a stronger connection if we strengthen our feet. And we should walk barefoot. We should get out in the grass. I hope that you guys have some grass or something to look at right now, maybe a tree, and you can connect to nature through your feet. And so can you maintain those short feet is my question. Can you bring one of them up? See, this is like a flexed foot, shortened foot, and stretch a little bit. I don't want to push too hard on the knee, but I'll take two hands and make my sitting bones go back and apart. Wow, hip stretch. And then I might bend forward a little bit and really feel that in the hip. Let's try the other side. So it's important that you have the short foot flexed, and then you take your hands and you move the sitting bone back and apart. And then you breathe and you lean forward a little bit. So we don't want to round our back like this. We want to hinge at the hips, and then breathe and stretch. So important to breathe when you're feeling the hip stretch right here. You know, for my friends who are regular yoga practitioners, of course, you could challenge yourself a little bit. Do this, look, standing, look, no hands, mom. And then you could do the other side. So I feel like I'm teaching kind of office yoga, because many of us, our homes have become everything to us. There are offices, there are playgrounds. I saw one thing on a video of people that turned their living room into a tennis court. Hey, the sky is the limit. You can be creative. The other thing I'm aware of is that some of you are living alone and you are missing touch. So I found this really great way to give yourself a hug, obviously. How many of you does this bring back memories of grade school? Remember making out? But if you squeeze yourself, it is comforting. And then you can use the other arm because we're yogis, we want to be balanced. And breathe. And you can even do this light stroking. If you just do this gentle light stroking for a few minutes every day, if you live alone, you will feel like you're having some human touch. And I'm lucky, I live with my husband, and I get to play with my grandchildren, and I don't take that for granted. So close your eyes and just imagine that someone's touching you, but you're touching yourself and you're filling yourself up with good vibes. You are important. Now I want you to go back to the side stretch. So you bring the arm over, you pull on your arm, you get that side stretch. If you're standing up, it looks like this, and the whole side of your body is stretching. Do you have your feet short? Do you have the muscles of your feet? Do you have the arches supporting you, and are your legs strong? And then let's go to the other side and breathe. And now I'm excited to share, this is my all-time favorite COVID lockdown stretch. You can stand and do this, or you can sit, and you take your feet wide and you put your feet turned out like this, and you put your hands on your knees and you keep your arms as straight as you can, and then you twist very slowly and you breathe. So I'm pushing my knees away from each other and slowly feeling so much activity right here in the low back. And then we'll go to the other side and breathing. Oh my God. To me, this is stunning how good this feels. Remembering again that the whole purpose of our practice is to uplift our spirits and make us feel alive. Here's how it looks standing. So if you were standing, you turn your feet out, knees out, press into your knees, and then breathe. Breathe for those who are suffering and struggling to breathe right now. We should all be practicing deep breaths to keep our lungs in the best condition possible. It's up to us. We are the ones who can create the change from the ground level. You know, back in the day, people weren't practicing yoga as much as they are now, and look what we started. How about this? Step wide now and bend one leg. Keep the other leg straight and see how low you want to go to stretch the inner thigh. And then go to the other side and see how low you want to go over there and stretch. And keep going on your own, timing. You can put your hands on the floor. And for my friends whose knees cannot do that, you just stretch one leg out on the side of your chair and then bend over a little bit more. Hopefully that twist loosened up your back, and now you can feel a little bit freer. We got to find ways to feel free when there's so many things we can't do. Stretch your leg out. We got to appreciate what we can do. I know that I'm talking to many people here who practice these kind of moves all the time. And when you practice the movement and the breath like this, it changes your thinking. And you start to have this recurring thinking right now. How is this happening for me instead of how is this happening to me? It brings us right out of victim consciousness. It's so easy to slip into victim consciousness, though. I do it. I don't sleep well every night. It's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. But I want you to take a wide stance now and bend your knees, keep your feet short, and lift your sitting bone. But a couple nights ago, I came up with a really great recipe for a sleepless night, is to try to figure out what the future is going to look like. That should keep you going for a couple hours, wide awake at night. Just a little COVID humor for you. So I have this really cool thing I want you to try now in honor of all the trees. And it would be so cool if you can see a tree, or if you can't, then you can look at our flowers or imagine a tree. But please stand on one leg. And of course, you can hold on to a wall or a chair. But pick up your other leg like this and make your feet short. We're entering tree pose. Now, hug both of your legs toward the midline, imaginary midline like this, and then strengthen your belly and your chest area right under your rib cage. Like pull all your abdominal strength in. And I let go of my legs. See if you can balance here and breathe. And then some of you can try to bring your foot into this tree pose shape and bring it up higher. But otherwise you just hold your leg. I want to see how long you can stand on one leg, and then externally rotate your upper back and stretch your branches and your leaves and breathe. Let's do the other side. I get very excited about being able to stand on one leg, but you can do this sitting on your chair too. You could just lift your leg up like that, and that will build a lot of leg strength. Please strengthen your legs during this time of lockdown. Somehow find a way. So the other side now. Feet and legs need to go walking, even if it's around the house. Hug into the midline. Take your sitting bones back, and then squeeze in all your abs and even your gluteals. And then if you can, release it. You may shock yourself, and your knee may be down like that. It's okay. You just do what you can do. And then you externally rotate your shoulders. Look at the whole heart opens up. And from there, I stretch my branches. I'm in tree, or I can put the foot in. All these variations of emulating Mother Nature and thanking her for being so, I don't know, forgiving. Is it forgiveness? That when we stop moving around, she starts to blossom and her skies get bluer. She has given us a big time out. That's what we all think. This is going to be a camel pose. First, I'm going to show it sitting, and then I'll show it kneeling. So you can do it either way with me. Taking the sitting bones back, similar to how we did cat and cow. So all of a sudden our cow becomes a camel. I'm touching my lower back because that has to go in. So I want you all to touch your lower back and take it in, and even pull your sitting bones back and apart like that. You got to start there. And then vertebra by vertebra, you start to tip up and you take your arms out. At a certain time, I used to say that this kind of movement, a bunch of us yoga teachers used to say, this is like saying, oh, how wonderful, in appreciation and gratitude. And now it's a little bit more challenging, but the word wonder interests me. Like, I have a lot of wonder about what's going on. It could be called wonderful, but mostly it's just the wonder part of it. It's full of wonder. And so you externally rotate, and your shoulders lift up, and you stretch, and you hold your neck strong. You don't increase your back bend by tipping your head back like that. You just make your breathing too short. So you keep your neck long, and then you breathe out. You can stretch your arms and take them back a little bit. You can reach them down, see, and you can turn your shoulders a little bit more and stretch here. And you can even hold on to the seat of your chair and breathe. Big breath. And then I want you to relax out of that. Now you can do that again right there on your chair. I'm going to show the people who want to try it kneeling because maybe they want a more challenge. But if you tuck your toes under and you start the same way, you take your sitting bones back and you make this part of your back come in. And then vertebrae by vertebra, I breathe. You start to come up. And here's the wonder part. We get to practice this. Yeah, it's like sign language in a big, like body language. You can, everybody, universal. Even if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can copy the feeling and the movement. The neck is long. Don't throw it back. And then you could come up and keep lifting. The important part of this pose is the open, uplifted heart, which says, I'm listening. I want to go with this thing instead of resist it. I don't really want life to go back to where it was unhealthy. I want to go forward from here and learn the lessons. And then you can come back. I think that's what we want. That is really what we want. And now I'm going to show you, I'm going to move this a little bit, but you can continue making your creative chair variations of putting one leg in front. You could just do the same thing we did. And really, this is the same for everybody. See, there's the movement. You might have to practice this a few times, especially if you're a tight, athletic person or if you're male. Sometimes the male physique doesn't really move so much like that, like the females do. But we can all do this and just see if it gets a little bit more practice when we try. It moves that way. Lumbar spine comes in, and then vertebrae by vertebrae, we go up into the wonder-filled shoulder, external rotation, and then some of you are going to be able to go farther. You can even tuck your toes under and back. You decide. And breathe. And then you can stretch your tree branches. And you can go to one side now. Oh, It's stunning how good it feels to move when you're sitting around all day and then you finally start to explore your body movement. I'm so grateful for all the online options there are. Put one arm across your knee, one thumb in your lower back. Keep your belly really strong and twist gently. And breathe. Oh. I don't think I'm alone in this. The lower back is really tight. So I have to make sure that I don't tuck under and turn. I have to keep my hips back and then turn. Let's try the other side. Switching legs. Again, same thing from your chair. Squeeze your legs to the center to make your inner thighs stronger, to help you take your sitting bones back and make the sacrum go in. And vertebrae by vertebrae. Come up, we'll do the wonder-filled. It's a great time for us to be curious. You know, you might feel angry. You might feel like everything that's happening as I go to the side here is unfair. Many business owners I know are suffering. There's so much hardship. So for those of us maybe who are not in that kind of stress, we have to do double the breathing and the work and the uplifting thinking and spread it around, because I have friends I talk to and I try to be positive as I can and tell them, you've got this, like the universe has your back. You won't be abandoned, even though right now you might feel very abandoned, and that's valid. I have to believe there's something greater at work here supporting us. And now I want to come down and lie down on your back. So all that cow tilting we did, you need to keep that alive here when you lie down on the floor. Watch, I will use my arms to press, put that tilted back. Try it, at least give it a try, and ground your thighs down to the floor so that you're making your legs heavy and your feet short, strong muscles in the feet. Then slide your right foot in and keep the left leg down. So you might have to push with your elbows and try to get your lumbar spine to do this arch. And this is going to give your spine a long stretch, and then you can hold the back of your leg like this. Remember when we did that standing tree? We can take the knee out to the side, the same thing. And because your abs are so strong, they push you down and they don't let you fall over like that. And then you breathe and you go across. See, I'm still keeping the abs strong so I don't like flip off of my shoulder. I keep the shoulder down and then I turn. See the bottom leg, the foot turns too. And the whole side of the leg goes over to the mat. And you breathe. You can even stretch your arm out. Let's come back to center. And this is natural movement. So this is not anything like super spectacular that you need to be a professional gymnast to do. The body should be able to be trained to move this way, and it helps your spine become free. And I take the left leg up and I keep the right leg down. If you bring the left leg up and your body goes like this, that's not natural. You got to get out of that somehow. So maybe don't bring it up so high. This is natural ability to have the whole spine be free. And then let's try taking it out to the side with our abs strong and breathing. And then let's go to the other side with a little spinal twist. I go slow so you can see. My abs are staying active so I don't just flop. I'm pushing back like towards the floor with the abs, towards the earth. And then I'm turning my bottom foot and my whole leg is going on its side. And I'm even lifting now the bent leg up a little bit to try to relieve some of the tightness in the lower back with strength, with strong legs. Reach the opposite arm away. You can reach both arms away and then come back to center. When you bring your legs in, you can do whatever you want, but I suggest you keep this cow tilt going. You can even have your feet on the floor. And now one more stretch as you roll to your side and come up. I'm going to show this on my chair because I know a lot of people are going to need to sit up on this one. Take one leg over. See, this is that simple. Before we did it this way, now we're going all the way across. And then you can bend forward. And then on the other side, I'll show you what it looks like. want you to take some time with this and wiggle, 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 side to side, and see if you can get a little hip stretch. And breathe. All that we've been doing has made us more spacious. I want to show this on the floor. This is the one that not everybody likes too much. But if you crisscross your legs and then activate your feet, that same short foot, and then just bow. Remember the bowing to the earth, the honoring with respect. And now I feel this so much in my hips. I can sit back a little bit. I'm going to ease into it with a little twisting. So I hope that this section, this little wake up yoga, has inspired you to keep on moving. Even as you're present for the rest of this program, if you're listening to people talk, you can sit in positions like this. Yeah, you can be mindful of how you sit. If you're in a chair, giving a stretch in the hips from this pose, you can, even if you're sitting in a chair, you can be more mindful of how you're watching this, even on the couch, that you're staying or returning to this position instead of just relaxing into this sofa position that we've all spent too much time in watching these inspiring people. So to finish, I would just like to sit together. Whenever I sit on the floor, I use a blanket to give me a little bit more support. You could sit cross-legged any way that's comfortable, or you can stay up on your chair. Breathe together. With your eyes closed as you breathe. No matter what you do in your line of work, you're essential. Your job might not be essential right now, but you are essential. You are spirit embodied, and your presence here is important and it's helpful. And when we remember that, we are inspired. It's when we forget that we start to lose hope. So this is my offering to you. Let us not lose hope. We can read the news, we can talk to people, we can listen to whatever we want to. We can get angry if that inspires us to action. Let us not lose hope that there's something bigger at work here. And we are all a part of it. And that we are here at this time for a purpose. And this is what we've been in training for. And all will be well. Please bring your hands together. I bow to you, the global family. Thank you so much for participating with us today. Namaste.